final episode of the season.
Week in Turkey with the kids, all inclusive.
Fill your boots.
Did nothing.
Did he play in Italia 90? Did he?
That was
Just behind Scalacci?
Scalacci, that.
Away at Wrexham at the race course, and we won 3-1. And Steve Evans for Wrexham, he got sent off in the first half for elbowing me. Went up for a head. He didn't
stand it.
Yeah, standard.
Half an hour. It's just a good life lesson, isn't it? Just don't get complacent. Stay professional.
Very philosophical. But they're the games, aren't they? When you come in with the lads afterwards, and it's like grabbing each other and you're cuddling, and
Best
what a
days.
massive win that is.
And then you look at Bernardo Silva,
Yeah, that's my point.
and he's nudged Sarr, and he's only a yard away from him.
And if you don't get the result, it's a disaster, and you've lost the dressing room. If you do get the result, the place is buzzing. What character they show there under the cosh.
And the unseen are things like desire, commitment, energy, passion.
When you look at where they are from a resources point of view, they're right down there compared to some of the big hitters in the league.
Oh, in January.
Good Christmas present for people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Friday, January the 24th.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of In the Stiffs, the final episode of the season. We're going to do a question and answer. We've had some questions from our listeners, our fans. We're here at Shrewsbury Town Ground, lovely setting, although I'm sitting on a space hopper. If anybody's watched this on YouTube, I'm not loads smaller than Gavin Dave, but my chair, for whatever reason, is really low down.
It doesn't affect your shoulders, though, does it? Why are our shoulders so much bigger than yours?
Right, let's crack on anyway. Just a quick one. How are you, Dave?
I'm very good, thank you.
Just come back from holiday?
Yep. Nice little tan. Belly slightly larger.
What was it? A week in Turkey?
Week in Turkey with the kids, all inclusive.
Fill your boots.
Did nothing. Lovely. Really nice.
Ready, rebooted, ready to go.
Just about, mate, yeah. But you know, when you come back off holiday, when you've been on that sort of holiday where you overindulge, I've got the cold afterwards. Do you know what I mean? You start eating healthy again, getting up at a normal time, and it's just catching up on me a little bit.
Bit run down.
What about you, Gav? You've been away as well?
Yeah, just took the kids away. So we had like 3 or 4 days, so that was brilliant. Obviously superb for them. They loved every minute of it, but it was just the 35,000 steps on Tuesday that was hard work. So, not much fun for me carrying the littlest one around, but no, it was great fun. Had a great time.
Half term for you, Sam?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm in education, aren't they? So it's different to you business people of leisure. Obviously I've been working a little bit over half term as well. So nothing exciting for me. Haven't been to Turkey. Haven't been to Disneyland. It's grafting, isn't it? It's giving something back, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've done your fair share of holidays this year, though, haven't you?
We've done, yeah.
A few teachers, though, you do get 13 weeks, don't you?
Anyway, right, let's not get political. Oh, we were a little bit beforehand, weren't we? Talking about the budget and stuff
we were.
beforehand. Small businesses and etc.
Should do a podcast on that.
Yeah.
Snore the life out of everyone.
Anyway, right, we've had some questions. You've obviously had a little bit of time to think about it. You two obviously won't have. But one question from Alessio Difnal. Well, it's a great name, that is.
Great
Alessio.
name.
I wish I was called Alessio.
What nationality is that? It's got to be Portuguese or something.
Italian, Alessio.
Italiano. Alessio, I like it.
It's, that's Italian for Alessi. Oh.
Did he play in Italia 90? Did he?
That was
behind Scalacci?
Scalacci, that. Right. Favourite Shrewsbury Town game played in? Dave, shall we start with you?
My favourite game that I've played in was away at Wrexham at the race course, and we won 3-1.
Did you score?
No, but I had a good game. Yeah, set up one.
Who was the gaffer there for Shrewsbury?
Gary Peters. Used to love playing at Wrexham. I spoke about this loads. It was always a really good atmosphere, wasn't it? They've actually released this game on YouTube. Like in COVID, they kind of re-released some games.
Quality.
And this is one of the ones. It's a bit grainy, the footage, because it was a while back.
Not exactly Sky
The pitch is an absolute quagmire. But it was...
Did Hoggy play in that one? Did he start? Was that the one?
I'm not sure if he started. Not sure. But I just remember that's kind of when I feel in my Shrewsbury career, I was probably at my best. And I was watching it back and I was like, bloody hell, I could run. When I look back now, now to sort of the latter end of what my career was and stuff like that, like I'd never ever thought I was quick, but I actually had a little change of pace. There was 3 or 4 times where I picked up the ball and run like 50, 60
You were a
yards
strong
of it and
runner,
just
Dave.
gone.
You were a strong runner, weren't you?
end.
Like when you started to motor, you were a real strong runner.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
kicking
I'd
it
say
like 15 yards in front of me and just going.
Yeah. You wouldn't say sharp, would you? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
It wouldn't say
Powerful.
sharp, just say powerful runner coming through the middle, like, wouldn't
Yeah,
you? Like,
but
people wouldn't, like, tracking you would be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
We spoke about this before, where you don't appreciate it when you get older, do you? And then you look back and think, actually, no, I was quick, or I was able to run. But yeah, we won 3-1. I remember Leo Fortune West scored at the end. That was off one of my runs. And Steve Evans for Wrexham.
Yeah.
He got sent off in the first half for elbowing me. Went up for a header. He didn't
stand it.
Yes, standard. And that helped the game. But I had a big cut on my eye as well. So it's one of those games where
Is that, you got a score on the eye? Is that score
yeah, from Evo.
He's given a few of them out, I think.
Your nose is still swollen from that as well. Has it never gone down?
He's got you right on the nose.
But no, that was
Says me over here flipping.
that was that was my favourite game. I can't remember what year it was. It'd been 2006ish, I reckon, probably 5-6. It was a belter.
What about you, Gav?
Love that. Mine's Dave's one there, as you can tell. He doesn't know who else played in that game. He knows everything about what he did. Mine's my favourite one was actually the Rochdale away one, because it's like a good learning experience for me as well. 3-1 up.
Is that this one where
Yeah, it all kicked off. Yeah,
that's your favourite game played?
it is. Yeah, just because like again, like the first half was incredible. Probably the first hour was incredible. Like we just absolutely flying, bopped them. I'd scored obviously with a 3-1 up half time, but I do remember the complacency sitting in with myself. Like if I'm honest with myself, looking back, I probably would never have admitted it at the time. But there was just this level of like, we're cruising, happy days, and obviously I took the brunt for Joe that day. Joe dropped a couple of clangers, but I think there was definitely a protection on Joe that day. But it was just brilliant because then the last half hour, again, you come in, we had a scrap in a changing room after, and it was all good. It was like, it was a good learning experience.
Was it finish the score?
4-3.
4-3.
4-3, yeah.
Obviously, at the time, that couldn't have been a favourite. When I think of favourite game, I think of like full of joy and celebration.
Yeah, but I think it's your favourite for different reasons, isn't it? Like I remember playing a pre-season game against Stoke, and they played their whole first team.
Oh, Stallard scored that worldie.
Yeah, that was that was that one.
Stoke.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
1-1 now.
And it was packed. Game Meadow was packed, and we were brilliant. I played every pre-season game that pre-season, and we were just in our flow. And we were unbelievable. Like we played so well that day. Yeah. I remember that. I know it's pre-season.
What about that? Didn't you play in that Wickham game?
Yeah.
That must be up there as well, because we never expected a result in that.
No.
What was that?
I got MOM that day.
What was that one? Tell us that one.
It was at home, wasn't it? And they had like a front three that had scored like a zillion
Nathan
goals.
Tyson.
Yeah. Tommy Mooney, Betsy.
Kevin Betsy.
I think the only moment in that game I didn't enjoy was when Betsy got hold of my arm, and I felt like my the shoulder socket had come out because he's just so strong, wasn't he? Yeah. That was. I got MOM that day. Funny.
That was one of Joe's first games as well.
Yeah. Played well. Like they were top of the league, flying, and we just never. Yeah. But I always go back to that Rochdale game just because I think it was a brilliant experience, but it was a good life lesson. Like you say, after 60 minutes you're cruising, you've scored. I played left back that day as well. Played left back.
Up against Kevin Betsy.
No, not the Wickham game. Not the Wickham game. The Rochdale game. Yeah. I started left back and then went to centre half.
Centre halves for you to play left back.
I can't remember. I went to centre half because I think someone got dragged,
bottled it,
or someone got injured or something. So I went back to centre half. I felt a lot more comfortable. But that's I think when it went a bit more downhill. But yeah, no, I loved that game. There's a lot of games for different reasons, but I always think back at that game because of the euphoria for an hour, and then half an hour. It's just a good life lesson in it. Just don't get complacent. Stay professional.
Very philosophical to pick that as your favourite game, that isn't it? Very wise.
Well, some people do think I'm a philosophical guy. Yeah.
You must have a few, Sam.
Yeah, I think I was like, I had a look this morning at the questions. I remember a Plymouth game. I had to look up who was playing that, so my memory's terrible. But went 1-0 down to Plymouth, who I think were top of the league at the time, at Game Meadow. And then Greg Rea got sent off. I don't know why he got sent off, but I think for just giving the ball away. I think the ref just sent him off. Give the ball away.
That's enough now. Come here.
Give the ball away 37 times in the first 17 minutes. Give him a straight red.
I haven't touched anyone, ref. No, you've given it away for the 8th time now. That's ridiculous.
And in fairness, that's where things started to pick up for us. So we 1-0 down with 10 men. Who ends up winning 3-1.
Oh,
I think we scored 3 in the second half. I might be in a
Big Gregor felt awful.
Oh,
yeah. Greg saying there, hey, but me, Luke and Ryan scored. I remember coming in afterwards. It was just like amazing, like to come back, and I think they were near the top of the league, and to win a game like that when you're 1-0 down, 15 minutes into it, 10 men, like,
wow.
Right? It's that feeling again, like you just can't get that in many things in life, can you? Where you're in the trenches and you dig in, and what you do, like you either like fight or flight, isn't it? Instead, we could have gone under and got beat. Like
I'd argue they're the best nights. They're the best nights,
they're the best
especially
ones.
midweek. That on a was it midweek?
I can't remember. But they're the games, aren't they? When like you come in with the lads afterwards, and it's like grabbing each other and you're cuddling, and
Best
what a
days.
massive win that is.
Yeah.
Best days they are.
I'd say that was
And the gay meadow as well. We're at the new meadow now, the Cried Meadow. There's pictures on the wall, isn't there, in a box and of the old meadow. It's amazing, isn't it?
Just we were saying, weren't we? Just the way people dressed back then as well. You know, just standards. You can just tell right the way through. Look
What
at
year do you reckon that is?
it's got to be 50s.
Yeah.
No?
Jesus,
When
Sam.
When were you born? So 51 or 52?
No, but everyone's dressed so well, and everyone's got a shirt and tie on.
Yeah, just look at the smiles on their faces as well. Like
There's a picture of the Wakeman behind as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to try and get a picture.
unbelievable that.
Anyway,
Next question from Bolt. He was asking, are you a fan? I don't know whether this is a new thing that they've been talking about, of people getting interviewed after they've been subbed off. I was watching American football the other day, Dave, and obviously they interview the managers like coming off the pitch at half time. And I think like it's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, just as you're coming off, your brain's thinking about what you're going to say, and then you've got to stand there and have a bit of interaction with the interviewer.
It's all become about the end user now, isn't it? Like it's all about entertaining the support of the person down the.
you've had it in game, haven't you, Gav?
I did in the playoff final, didn't we? We had they come out. I didn't like it. I'm trying to concentrate, trying to focus on my job.
Half time.
Yeah.
They was doing it in game, didn't
It was
Jamie?
during, I didn't do it. I didn't want to do it, so I got Jamie to do it, my assistant. So just because I just didn't feel like it was appropriate. You know, your mid-game is the most important game of the season.
You're just in the middle of calling the referee also.
Yeah. You're trying to put mute.
What do you think, Gavin? So far, what about that ref?
Yeah.
Cheating, whatever.
Yeah, it was onside. It's not better at all. And then I think when someone's coming off, it's dependent, isn't it? If you've just scored 2 goals and you've been taken off and you come off to a standing ovation, interview me all day.
Yeah.
But if you've just been dragged off like Gregor Rioch, you know, and then you go 3-1 up, you know, what do you think, Gregor? Yeah, great, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
But I think in general, it's just, for me, it's not appropriate. You know, you're going to get, what they want reactions, don't they? You know, testosterone's
Emotion.
flying, adrenaline's flying. They want that immediate in your face.
The media's changed, isn't it? They want it to be more interaction during the game, don't they? You look at all these new series coming out behind the scenes, and they're trying to like evolve football coverage all the time, but that's an error I don't think works.
Because people want that though, don't they? There's nothing more boring. Like you watch Match of the Day and you get the players' interviews after the game. You just
it's
fast
horrendous.
forward it because and I don't blame them. They just deliver. Oh well, it's not about me. It's just about the team and 3 points. No, it's not, mate. Of course, it's not. You want the 3 points, but you want to play well and you want to score.
As a fan, though, it would be quite good to see it if you're sat at home watching Sky Sports and Jamie Vardy's just scored the winner and he's done this crazy celebration. He comes off for a rapturous ovation, like you said, and you've got a microphone in his face straight away. It would be interesting, wouldn't it? But
there's people.
No.
But
could backfire massively on the
because it's
clubs.
going to get yourself in
the clubs won't want it at all.
Yeah. I just made a note there when I played Notts Forest away. I've told you this, haven't I? I come on at half time, and then like there's 10 minutes to go. It was like 1-1 or something, so I was like left wing. It's like he's brought me off. I was like, and it used to be where you'd have like. It'd been where you had the subs. No, I don't know, but anyway.
Just had the board going up.
Oh
just
my God. So I sat there. I remember like Nicky Summerby was round the corner in the dressing room, like just looking around the corner, like laughing at me. Sub.
Brilliant.
I was like, imagine if you'd interviewed me there. How are you feeling, Sam? Yeah, really good. I feel self-esteem's really high at the moment. I'm feeling really positive, like just being sub the sub.
It's even if you're winning as well, but you've been sub for not playing well. It's not nice. Like if someone interviewed you say about that Everton game that was obviously amazing for the time, but you said you were on the bench. Imagine someone comes sticks a microphone on. You win
like
it
7 minutes or something. Like I was like, how are you feeling? I'd be like, the flat really. I'm not really part of it. Like I haven't helped. The played come on for 7 minutes.
I've just got those games in at the Gay Meadow. I was just thinking we played Bristol Rovers. Gary Peters took me off after about an hour, and I just, you know, when you're at your lowest, just thinking, what were you doing there?
Again, you said it's straight. It's hard for a defender to get brought onto the pitch, and it's less likely to come off. So if you brought, there's a reason behind it.
Obviously, I wasn't playing well. Can't really remember, but convenient. But I can't. I obviously wasn't playing very well. But he took me off after an hour, and I was thinking, what are you doing? Like, it wasn't that blatant to me, you know. It was like, well, we're doing all right, but that was when obviously it was going through, like me and him, bit of tit for tat all the time, constantly.
That's not nice for like, you know, if defenders coming off last 10 because you're throwing caution to the wind, but if you come off as a defender at like 0-0 or 1-1 or something, I think that's always
Well, it's telling you a story, isn't it? You're not playing.
I used to hate as a forward though. If I got taken off, like if you got taken off and you're winning 2-0 or something, you got 2-1 with 5 minutes, 10 minutes to go, you're all right. But I used to hate it if we were losing and they get taken off. I'd be like, that's basic.
Yeah,
you've got no chance of getting us back in this game. Off you come.
You haven't affected it.
Yeah, that's always disappointing.
Yeah.
But any of the players listening, don't read too much into it. It's a squad game now anyway, Gav. You know,
it is completely different now. So it is completely
different. The lads not bothered about getting the subbed as much.
No, they are. But the constant battle for me is to say to them, like, I've got some players who aren't quite in it at the moment and they're so close. They could. I'm really lucky. We try to recruit 16 that can just play every week. That comes with headaches for me, of course, but trying to keep them afloat and just say, look, you know, you're going to play your part, because they don't see the end of the season, you know, they don't see what they do is they see Saturday and then they want it's ego. They want to see their name in the starting because their mates are texting them, and you know what it's like when you're not playing. Everyone's texting you, why are you not playing? Why are you not playing? When you do play and you get man of the match and you scored the winner, you know, you don't get too many texts. You know, everybody's like, oh, well done.
Oh, especially you start like, are you playing today? Oh no, I'm sub, but then you start getting the text. But the gaffer said that I'm being really like, no one cares today. But I'm being rested, and because it's a big game on Tuesday. Like, no, are you playing today? Like, no. The answer's no.
No, I wasn't in.
Quick one from David Horwood. What music do you listen to? And who chose the music for In the Stiffs?
That was Gavin.
Was it?
Yeah. I remember it. We were just talking about different ones, and he was like, "I've got the perfect one."
Yeah, my dad would play a lot of like mod music and ska music around the house, so I love that sort of. I like a lot of genres of music, but that one, and then I'm a big fan of like the Jam, the Who, and all of that. So yeah, it's just one that I know the words to, and obviously it's upbeat and entertainment. We were talking about we wanted to entertain people, so
it's good. Good choice. I think we're happy with it now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
As we've evolved and moved on a bit, like we still like the name, don't we? In the Stiffs, we still like that music.
Yeah, I think so.
Made some good decisions early on.
I think so. Might have to freshen it up in next series.
Apart from the hosts.
Yeah. Let's just keep it. Yeah, I don't want to be the Robbie Williams of In the Stiffs. That's the last thing.
A question from I don't know who's asked this, but I haven't written it down who's asked it. Anyway. Would you have liked VAR when you played Dave?
No.
Why?
Simple. So I've had it in one game in my career.
Go on. When was that?
It was FA Cup at Anfield for Shrewsbury, and we scored to go 1-0 up. It got crossed in from the left. I had a shot, got saved, dropped to Sean Worley. He's only 3 yards out, scores. I'm right in front of the Shrewsbury fans, and obviously you got the whole of the Anfield Road end. There's like 9,000 Shrewsbury fans, and I'm just like celebrating, going wild, biggest rush ever. Yeah. Then we wait about a minute, and it gets disallowed for offside, and it must have been about 15 seconds earlier in the build-up where we're passing it round. It goes out one side to Scotty Goldborn, and literally his heel is offside, and he's about halfway into their half. And then it comes back around the other side, then back to him, and it gets crossed in. And it was just like, and then that was the turning point in the game. We just kind of went flat then. You just took the emotion out of it, and they went and scored. And then, we lost 1-0, but it was horrendous.
But got the right decision, though. That's the only thing.
Is that the right decision? And then that's the next argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Like how long's it gone? Yeah.
Has he affected the game? How long's it gone on for? And this is the thing for me. Like way back when, obviously, you think about the history in football, like when Michael Thomas scores for Arsenal at Anfield, that would never have been, because it would have been handball, wouldn't it? You know, those big moments in football, and I know there'll be more, but I just believe football is an off-the-cuff game, you know, and anything can happen, and that's the adrenaline. Whereas now, like, I think it's to do with finances. I think there's an element of control there, and I think because of finances, they have to control. It's a multi-trillion pound industry across the world, isn't it?
What do you mean by? Do you mean they have to get the decision right?
I think they have to get the decision right, and I do think it leaves it open to potentially, you know, if Man City are drawing 1-1 at Wolves and the ball goes out and it's not a corner, but they get a corner, and then Stone scores in the last whatever, you know, and then Bernardo Silva's there in front of the keeper, which any other time, like you say, in that game, Shrewsbury against Liverpool, is heel 3 minutes before the goal is offside, but Bernardo Silva is half a yard. I mean, I wouldn't want that to be not given, but in terms of consistency, he's half a yard from the keeper. He's in his peripheral vision. He's gonna have an effect on it.
The huge problem.
You still disagree on, like, but VAR, we've got that, and people still disagree. Like,
Yeah,
I think that
that's
is a
my
goal.
point.
Like, yeah.
I would say absolutely not. I wouldn't want to play with it. I think
Get rid
goal
of
line
it.
technology
Can't
because
stand it.
it's instant, pretty much. That's fine. But taking that emotion out of when you score a goal, that's, and for fans. I'm not even thinking players here. Coventry in the semi-finals against Man United when they score that late goal.
Yeah.
The best moment in all those Coventry fans, and the majority of them, that'll be the best moment ever supporting Coventry.
Yeah.
Alas, I don't know how late it was. It was really late in the game, wasn't it? A winner at Wembley against Manchester United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It gets chalked off for a
They need to take
offside.
for me. They need to take the human element out of it because there is so much involved financially that there has to be an element of control.
But it depends on your because the offsides is clear though, isn't it? It's like it's stuff when they go back and they still disagree over like that goal we've just said. I mean, sorry, normally like you draw a line for if they're offside.
Yeah.
That Bernardo Silva was a different one, isn't it? That's subjective because Dave's obviously going to say that.
Yeah.
You think it should be disallowed as well?
No, I
I
wouldn't want to see that disallowed.
I think it's a goal,
I
but-
think the Wolves players need to look at themselves. It's a set piece. You got to get first contact on it. He scores, but in terms of consistency,
the problem with this is that Wolves fans are annoyed with. I don't think that. I think it should be a goal as well.
Yeah.
But last season against West Ham, exactly the same thing happened
Yeah.
with Fabianski. Chirera is his name for Wolves, a young lad. He ducked down, and Fabianski can see everything, and it goes in the goal. It gets given as a goal and then gets overturned from the monitor. And they wrote to PGMOL and said, "Can you give us a reason for this?" And he said, even though Fabianski can see he's close to him, it's the proximity. And then you look at Bernardo Silva,
Yeah, that's my point.
and he's nudged Sarr, and he's only a yard away from him, and then they've overturned it again, so we got given offside, and they've gone and overturned it.
Then you start going deeper and you start questioning the intention of, well, why was that one not given and that one is given? And you start going, well, that one was, I don't know, West Ham and whoever, and that one's Man City. And this is where now you can understand fans start going, hang on, like they seem to be getting
the conspiracy.
Yeah, it starts to become
Anyway,
that, doesn't it?
absolutely not.
No,
So
not for me.
I was saying because it hasn't sorted it out. Like
No.
it's still there. We can have a massive discussion about everything.
I think it takes away from the matchday experience as a fan.
The only thing it does for me,
reason number one is it takes away from
100%,
in the
yeah.
moment, and you just live with the mistakes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think goal line technology,
Yeah.
because it's so quick. But
Yeah.
other
Even
than that,
offsides,
even
like-
offside, even though you can say absolutely he's offside, I feel like
Just leave it.
you lose a minute. And then they're letting people carry on playing and that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Where they can't put the flag up until the end of the phase of play. I think it's become a bit of a
and then
car
like,
crash.
don't put that flag up, and then anything happens, and someone gets wiped out or whatever.
You're always, I feel as a defender, you'd always be like, I'm going back, I know he's offside. But then if you've not seen your right back who has dropped in and you've not gone 100% with him,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's too much. There's too many grey areas. Just sack it all off.
I just think it hasn't
Sack it
it hasn't changed any of the debates. All it does for me is it puts it in the control of the people in that room.
And it has got more decisions, right? 100%. But I think
It's not-
it's
it's not
for a fan's point of view.
My youngest
it's
lad
been an
now
expense as a
can't
fan.
watch like a game on TV. He has to watch highlights or YouTube or all of them little things that he gets. He struggles to watch a game because he's just like flipping. We're waiting 5 minutes now. Just switches off.
Yeah.
And I think even saying, if you try and get decisions right, it's a different point, but it's about being clear and obvious. Even clear and obvious is subjective, isn't it? Like, you might say that's clear and obvious, but I might go, I don't know if it was. Well, yeah, it's a bit messy, isn't it? But,
We're debating the debate.
yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, you don't like it. Ruins the match day experience. You
Yeah.
don't like it.
What about you, Sam? Just quickly, would you like it or not?
I think I like the idea of it, and I think it's fine. Like, as long as I just get frustrated with this clear and obvious. Like, if you're having to spend 2 minutes looking at it, it's not clear and obvious, so stick with the decision. If it's absolutely blatant, but the amount of times we see something, and then they go over, and we're still debating whether it's a goal or not a goal. Just go with the on-field decision, unless it's something absolutely ridiculous that the officials have missed. Like, he's 5 yards offside. Well, then that's fine. You go with the monitor. Go on with it. But not for the same reason. I know what you're saying about takes away the experience. I don't know whether I necessarily agree with that.
Have you been to... I don't feel like you've probably watched enough
Oh, that's
live games, though. Do you know what I mean? Like you've been to a few Premier League games.
Someone's got a job on Sky Sports and goes to loads of live games.
Imagine if it was if you had a season ticket at Newcastle, you're going every single week.
Yeah.
It's taken away the experience, definitely.
Yeah. Agreed. Another.
That's no thoughts. Anyone who goes to Premier League games?
Yeah. That's it. There's a debate that's going to go on and on, isn't it? But I think it's here to stay, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to
go. No, it's not going. No.
This is a great question from Jude61. They often hear this, and people say the manager has lost the dressing room. Is it a cliche? And have you experienced it? I think that's an excellent question, because you always hear that, don't you? Managers lost the dressing room. Ten Hag's lost the dressing room. Managers have lost the dressing room. What's your thoughts on that, Gav?
I think
Cowan's lost the dressing room.
I'm thankful to say
it's the worst thing you can say as a manager. Cause it means you haven't got people believing in you.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased to say that I don't feel like that's happened at any point. I've been managing now. I'm in my 6th year.
Is it even a thing though? Is that even, can you lose a dressing room?
I think there is definitely that, and what I think the phrase is bounded around a bit too much. When things aren't going well, it's very easy to try and create cracks and problems, and then to go, oh, the manager's lost the change room. It is. I'll be honest. I reckon I've heard of it, never been a part of it. I would never have allowed a changing room that I've been in to go against the manager. Unless they're a horrible human being, which is very, very rare. You might not agree with what they're doing, but he's the one that signed you. The football club signed you. The manager signed you. You have to adhere to what he wants you to do. He's the one who's his head on the block, isn't it? I think for me, the term gets banded around a lot, but it's very, very rare. I know that one I do remember is when Marcus Bignett was at Grimsby, and he went in there trying to implement, and I think there was all of these really senior players, and they'd already had a really good relationship with the previous manager, and I think he found that very hard to implement what he wanted, and the players just went on their own agenda. Don't think it was anything personal, but I think he was trying to really go, look, I've got a completely different game strategy. This is how I approach it. And they were like, whoa, hang on a minute. We're senior players. We're creatures of habit. We got on well with the last manager. We feel a bit of loyalty to him. So it was a bit frosty. So I think that's the only one I heard. Again, I don't think it's not a regular thing. Very, very, very rare. Very rare.
Yeah, I think the same. Doesn't happen. I think it's happened once in my career, and it's probably exactly the same as what you're saying there, Gav, that it was after Mick McCarthy got sacked. Mick McCarthy signed all the players there pretty much. Certain type of player, full of energy, work your socks off. And then we got relegated, and they brought in Ståle Solbakken, Norwegian manager. He's done really well. He's a really good manager. He'd come from Copenhagen. I think he's back there now. He's managed Norway. Might even be managing Norway now. But he come in, and it was just so different. So different. First time I'd ever played under a European manager. And Mick McCarthy's back getting after teams, go press, make it hard for them, play of wingers. Whereas Ståle came in. First session he showed us was Copenhagen playing Barcelona. And what his team did, and it was just drop deep, be narrow, be hard to play through, but you're sitting in a low block all the time. And he wanted to play like that of Wolves. Molyneux, we've just been relegated into the Championship. We're playing against teams like Rotherham at home, and we're playing a low block, just waiting, and the crowd are going mental. And they think it's obviously the player, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Brave,
they're like,
be brave, go.
And you're the old one that F them off, get into him, literally echoing around every single day.
Attack.
Honestly,
you're getting this little block.
You're trying to break out, and it's like,
I want to run, but I'm not allowed.
I remember he went mental at me. It was only early on the season. I was frustrated because I was in and out. I wasn't really playing all the time. Again, it didn't suit me. And we played Sheffield Wednesday at home, and I've come on. It was 2-1 at the time, and I've come on to probably see the game out a little bit. But I've just thought, I'm bombing away, trying to get on the end of crosses, and I can hear him scream at me, Edward. He used to go over with him, Edward, no. I'm just going into the box.
I'm off.
I get onto the edge of it. I got onto the end of a cross. I scored to make it 3-1. I was celebrating.
Doing the aeroplane in front of him.
But he's raging still.
Is he?
But anyway, it didn't work out well. So, but I think it was more he inherited a group of players, which was probably unfortunate for him because he's a good manager. But it kind of came to a head. We played Bristol City away, and we were really, really struggling. And the lads went on their own agenda. We were literally in the huddle before the game and saying, that's not going to work. Let's go back to what we used to do. Let's get after him. Carl Emery, the skipper at the time, was saying, you're all brought to this club for a reason. If you're a runner, you go and run. If you can press, you go and press. We're 4-0 up at half time. Away at Bristol City.
Get Carl Henry in as the manager.
But yeah, that's the only time I've seen it. And again, it's unfair on the manager because that's his philosophy.
Yeah.
But it ended up it wasn't quite working, and he didn't have the players to do it.
It's an easy thing to say, though, isn't it? It's like any football team, they're either flying or they're terrible. Whereas, like, the truth's always in the middle a bit, isn't it? Like, Newcastle were flying, now Newcastle fans are saying they're terrible. Man, you are now absolutely like the truth somewhere. You know, you're not absolutely incredible or you're not absolutely terrible. So he's lost the dressing room. He's got the lads buzzing.
People panic, don't they? Knee jerk. They want change, like you said earlier. Yeah. They want change. They want things to happen. They want immediate gratification. We need to be winning. Why haven't we winning? We've drawn at home to Brighton. Why have we drawn at home to Brighton? You know, it's like we should be beating them. Why? Brighton, an unbelievable, well-established Premier League team. They've got players like Danny Welbeck and all of the others. Like, you're not just going to walk over like you've got no divine right. And actually, this is football. You know, you can play I remember playing at the Gay Meadow again. Keep thinking about that place while we're here. Certainly looking over the new Crowd Meadow. And I remember we lost to Bury at home, and we were unbelievable. Battered Bury, and got booed off the pitch. And then the following week, I can't remember, who did we beat? We beat someone 3-0 at the old Gay Meadow. And we were clinging on for at least 80 minutes and scored like in the 70-odd, 80 and 90. And we got a standing ovation. Yeah. It's the end result that they want, isn't it? They all want this immediate gratification. And
if you don't get the result, it's a disaster and you've lost the dressing room. If you do get the result, the place is buzzing. What character they showed there under the cosh.
You either trust what you do, you know, as a manager, you've got to trust what you do and you've got to stick to it. Yeah. You've got to keep with that philosophy. If you're thinking it's working, then it's working.
But also from players' point of view, if you're struggling, players, I say this to all my staff at work, if anybody has something goes wrong, what first thing they do is to try and blame someone else.
Yeah.
Then they try and blame the situation. And then in the end, they go, I might have a little look at myself, last of all. Whereas, like, you know, we know, like, as players, when we had a bad game, if I had a bad game, well, I didn't. Gaffer trained me too hard on Friday, played me on the right wing instead of the left wing. Like, you know, the warm-up was rubbish. Like, you just didn't do very well yourself.
Yeah, you were just crap.
Footballers are as bad as anybody for making excuses.
Yeah, it can be difficult, though, sometimes when say you've got a manager who plays a certain way which you know doesn't suit you. But you've got to look after your own performances. Yeah. If a manager's telling you, Sam, right, I want you to play right midfield, I want you to play tucked in, I want you to really help out the centre midfielders, make runs on the inside, all that sort of stuff. You're like, well, you're just hampering me. So anyone watching me, they think I'm this boring midfielder.
Yeah. When it comes to ownership, though, as a manager, you can't win. You can't win. I did an interview the other week, and in my opinion, genuinely, the referee was awful. But I said countlessly in that interview, we have to be accountable for ourselves. It's us, you know, regardless of the referee. But you do have to highlight your opinion. Like, referees have got to be better. You know, they're inconsistent. They've got to be competent. They've got to get certain decisions right. Totally understand it's a tough job. Did all of this in the interview, but then but absolutely, it's got to be down to us, me as the manager, you know, not making any excuses. It isn't about the referee, it's about us. And then you'll get people on there going, are you blaming the referees? No, I categorically said, I'm not blaming the referee. It's not about it.
I suppose they would say, but you're still highlighting it, aren't you?
But it would be
would you mention the referee?
But you'd highlight it if a player played extremely well, or if someone let you down and got sent off. You'd highlight that. It was a real poignant, obvious thing in the game where the referee, for both teams, wasn't having a good game.
And also, I suppose, like, it's your armour, isn't it? You know, you criticise people for making excuses, but you don't want to say that we didn't do very well, and you actually need your lads to believe that you were just unlucky. You don't want to say we weren't good enough, I suppose, or he's not good enough to play left back. Yeah, I suppose it's self-preservation. If you can,
do you know what though? I always think, like, with that, I think, like, they always know if you're tickling their belly. They always know if you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes. I think honesty.
The player.
Yeah, I think it's just honesty, and all my players will listen to my interviews, and I'm just honest. We lost obviously we spanked Hartlepool in the FA Cup. Brilliant. Like, you know, what an unbelievable night. Fantastic. And we had a little bit of the Lord Mayor show on the Saturday because we played bottom of the league Radcliffe, who shouldn't be bottom of the league. Totally false position. Got seasoned players, highlighting this to the team, constantly on them. Like, lads, like, you know, got to be on it. Let's not make this the Lord Mayor show. And we totally dominated them for 60 minutes and then just ran out of legs completely. And they've done a great game plan themselves. And this is when the referee was really poor because it was more about game management. You know, when they're slowing it down. Yeah. And he's like, I'm adding the time on. And you're like, it's not about the time. It's about the momentum of the game. Like, it's not. We're not worried about the time. We've got 90 minutes. We'll be all right. But then for half an hour, it just went the other way. So you're just honest with I'm just honest with the players. Like, half an hour, you just went missing. You know, I just think what you could do in that time is go, you know, we had 8 chances and we should have won the game. And like, well, you didn't win the game because for half an hour you lacked. I think I think this self-preservation thing goes out the window for me. I think be honest, and then everybody respects it, and then at least you've got something to work with.
I wouldn't necessarily, but I bet a lot of the lads would have excuses rather than look at themselves.
Oh yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, I think from a player's perspective,
in any
that's maturity, though, isn't it? I think, like, you know, I was as bad as anyone when I played. Like, who were you marking? Number 5. Who scored? Number 5. Wasn't me though. It was, I got blocked off. Yeah. He didn't stop him blocking me. Like, you're like, definitely your man.
It's on the board there.
Mark him. Cowan marking the 5.
Last one then. Bring it back to Shrewsbury Town. That's where we are. What can Shrewsbury Town do to improve their current predicament? Because it's not looking good at the moment. Obviously, Dave can't say anything because he's looking after his column. Gav, so shall I start with you? You can't say put yourself in as manager. I'm not going
to... I'm not going to... certainly you don't criticise because they'll just be working tirelessly every day. Guaranteed, like, it won't be for the want of trying. I suppose the only thing I can say is, because I'd never speak about their game strategy or the way they play, it's not none of my business, and I've not seen enough of them, is the truth, formations and all of that. The only thing I'll say is the one thing I believe is something that happens in football is what I call the unseen. And the unseen are things like desire, commitment, energy, passion, you know, all of those things that you can bring to the table that as an individual you have to bring. And I think sometimes when you're getting beat every week, and I think they've had some good performances, haven't they? I mean, on a couple of occasions I've seen them, what I will say is the performance has been to a standard, but they've just missed that cutting edge, or they've, you know, I can't remember the one who did we come here against, and the one right near half time, it's just flown over the bar. It was like deflected just over the bar.
Castlesdean went over. Who was the game at Stockport, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we were saying at half time, weren't we? You know, that goes in. It's just a defining moment, and I think, like, it's the hardest thing in the world to do, but the most effective when things aren't going well, and you have players, you have people within the club and fans, that little trio there, when they all unite. And I can say, like, I've had experiences as a player and as a manager, but last year at Brackley we were flying in terms of performances, and I'm talking, we were bopping teams off the pitch, couldn't get near us, but just couldn't get the results. Went to Hereford, destroyed them. I've never seen such a one-sided game, lost 1-0. You know, you're baffled. We signed Connor Hall New Year's Day. He came in and scored a hat-trick, and when I look back at the games, I'm a bit obsessed with the reactions. And from his first goal, it was an unbelievable header, but his first goal, you could see the lads hesitating to celebrate. He's like, oh, like we've scored. Like, we've done what we normally do, but we've actually got an end product. And then the second and the third, and from then, we just caught fire. Because it was, for me, nothing changed, nothing in the game strategy. Performances weren't better or worse. It was just belief, desire, energy, and it just gathered this momentum. I think when things aren't going well, everyone has to back what's going on. And just, again, as fans, you don't see what goes on behind closed doors. You all have your opinion. Everybody sort of says, oh, well, I think these are the ingredients that should go into the cake. And I think everybody's just got to get behind it and trust the people at the helm to do their job. And I get that that's hard when you've been beat. But there's a lot that goes into that, isn't there? You know, again, going back to it, Newcastle haven't got a divine right to beat Brighton at home. You know, Shrewsbury haven't got a divine right, but we get so caught in our bubble of, like, obviously we all have a very, like, big love for this football club. You can't just expect to go and do it. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of change. And, you know, I saw something the other day that made me laugh. Someone said, was it the worst decision in the world getting rid of Steve Cotterill? Well, when he was here, everyone wanted him gone. You know, like, I'm not saying everyone. There'll be people out there saying, oh, I didn't. But if, hand on heart, everyone at that time was going, get rid of him, get rid of Steve Cotterill, get rid of him. You know, he's old school. We need something fresh. And they might say, oh, well, you know, I'd rather that than this. Well, that's fine. But this new regime has got to take a bit of time. It can't come at the expense of a relegation, of course. But something might just happen. You know, I'd be saying to the players now, just a moment, just one going in off someone's arse, someone just going and putting in a tackle, someone just revving it up. Today could be your day. You know, this weekend could be the turning point for Shrewsbury, and that's what everybody's got to try and be positive about for me.
Think, Dave?
It's just a huge transitional couple of years for Tyne, isn't it? And say about the Steve Cottrell days where they were sort of finishing mid-table.
Good manager, by the way. So I'm not. That wasn't a criticism.
100%, exactly. Very experienced, finishing mid-table. Everyone knows that the budgets had to be cut and things like, not cut because it's more of an overspend, but when you look at where they are from a resources point of view, they're right down there compared to some of the big hitters in the league. So you've got to understand that. I do actually think more recently, I've said it quite a lot, their performances have been improved and they look more like a team. I think at the start of the season, there's so many new players. It looks like now they're a lot more together. I think the experienced lads in particular are taking a lot more ownership of the group. I'd like to see some of the more of the lone players playing. You can say they've got ability, but Paul Hurst has come out in sort of press conferences and after match and kind of explained, said, well, if they're the best player in training every week, then they would be playing. So that kind of says to me that then it's not quite that reason, whether that's work ethic, whatever that is. And
I am training well though. I am the best player. I am, like, it's that ownership.
Yeah,
again.
and I loved it. The way he did it as well. He's like, well, if they give me a problem in the week and they say and they're trained that well where I have to play them, then, but that's not happening at the moment.
I always agree with that as well.
Yeah,
he needs to play. He needs to play.
And where Shrewsbury are at the moment is they need every single player to be 100% in. Do you know what I mean? They have to really want to play for the football club because they're going to have to overperform to stay in the league. That's what a budget tells you. And I think he's doing that at the moment. What they do need to improve on is they need a 90-minute performance. I feel they've had a lot of good 45s, maybe 60 minutes, conceding at poor times in the game. So maybe a bit of game management. There's been a lot of mistakes. It's so easy to say they need to be cut out, but they do. But yeah, you've got to find a way to start winning games.
Full focus, full
Momentum is so important because they haven't been far away. They're not getting battered every week. Do you know what I mean? They're close games. There's moments in the games where Tyne can go and take the lead, and it's just not quite happening.
Do you know where just to jump in, Dave? Do you know where I feel like there's a bit of hope though, and like it's human behaviour or what I call football behaviour. Often what happens is when you'll notice from when it feels like you're a hopeless situation. The players feel this pressure, don't they? And it goes on and it prolongs, and you feel like something's got to give, and then you're looking for all of those things, and you're going, right, let's get back to basics, desire, and all of that. The thing for me is actually you almost go through a transition of emotions where you go. I think what will happen is they'll get to a point and they'll go, well, what have we got to lose? What have we got to lose? And then they'll start playing with a bit more freedom and a little bit more focus and concentration. Whereas at the moment, I feel like probably in that moment, when it's everything's just on your shoulders and you're all sort of tensed up and you're like, oh, I've got to get it right, and they're overthinking it. I think they'll come out the back of that and then they'll have this sort of.
There is signs of that. They played here against Exeter and they were brilliant in the first half. They were the most expansive I've seen them play. Like loads of interlinking play, running beyond the ball, lots of chances. But then Exeter score the second goal, and then you can just see the confidence just
drained,
gone, and then they can't recover from that. So they do need a little bit of luck. They need a result to go their way, but momentum's everything. Is you need to start picking up points, winning games. They're not a million miles away from performance wise, but I think it was their last home game they played here against Barnsley, and they were really poor.
That's what everyone said to me.
That's a big step back. After I thought the performances were getting better and better and better, that was a big step back. So hopefully, say that's a one-off and you can bounce back a little bit, but it is looking tough on the pitch at the moment. Table doesn't lie, and you're far enough into the season now to have a true indication of where the club might finish. So they're going to need to sort of really gather that momentum and start winning some games. But it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Good luck, Shrewsbury, though. See where
Absolutely.
It goes from here. So that's season. Are we on season 5? That's season 5.
This is 4. We're going into 5.
Season
This is 4.
Finished. We've got some exciting things coming up in the new year. Are we telling anybody about?
Yeah, let's get
a
it
little
out there.
question of sport that we're doing.
Let's get it out there.
Question of sport style evening within the Stiffs.
Yeah. To be held here at Sovereign Suite.
Yeah.
On January.
Good Christmas present for people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Friday, January the 24th.
Exciting guests.
In the Stiffs does Question of Sport.
Proper old school question of the sport as well.
Yeah. I'm Bill Beaumont.
David Coleman.
Dave.
Who was the other one back then?
Emily Hughes.
Before John
Emily
Parrott.
Wolfen.
Before John Parrott, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Oh, yeah, that's
John
well.
Parrott.
Yeah.
He's
Forgot he even did it. Emlyn Hughes or Ian Botham, you'll be. You've got to be beefy, Botham, haven't you?
beefy.
Yeah.
Right. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. It'll be all over our social media.
Tickets available. Soon. Yeah, very soon.
Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Thanks for all your support.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you.